Wave, Mike.
Hey, 30 seconds.
Look at that right there.
Common prolong.
See, it says Sip and Chew right there. And right there, it says powered by the Mac Cheesery. Oh, and right down there, it says Sip and Chew.
Everyone loves the sound of a water fountain. They're fun, cool, relaxing, and
Fake this out.
interest to any outdoor space. Put new life in your outdoors with a statuary fountain from Weatherford's Fountain and Lawn, and save 10% on any
Sounds like it went back.
Here we go.
Weatherford's Fountain and Lawn.
Were you on here?
Yeah, he did it 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
Feel it, Father. Oh. What did it do? Oh.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Indeed. Time to sip and chew with Mike and Stu.
You know, we fit to start yakking about snacking.
There you go.
Hey.
But welcome
Hey,
to the
guess
Sip
what?
and
They weren't
Chew
on.
show.
They weren't on. I thought I had a full memory there. Been turning those on.
Oh, okay.
That apparently was from last week.
Apparently, huh? Hey, welcome to the Sip and Chew show. And
The new and improved.
The new
Sip
and
Chew
improved.
with Mike and
Well,
Stu.
Stu, would you explain to our audience what we're talking about?
We are now simulcasting.
Mm-hmm.
Not only are you hearing it on your radio, but we have our Facebook Live. But we're also live on YouTube and we're live on Twitch.
Oh,
So just look for Sip and Chew with Mike and Stu on any of those platforms, whichever you prefer. And all comments will come to the same thing on my computer.
awesome.
So you can comment on any of those platforms and we will be able to ignore it.
Okay. Or not.
Yeah.
But we want to explain. We are a food and wine show, and a food and beverage show. We talk
Yeah, because
about.
this is our first ever on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah, we've never put anything on.
So I've never heard of Twitch until you told me last week.
Yeah, it as I understand, it started as a platform for video game enthusiasts
Mhm.
to watch each other play games.
Okay.
Because in this new vicariosity industry that we have now, not only do you watch Food Network instead of actually cooking, and you watch Travel Channel instead of going on vacation, and you watch Fitness TV instead of actually working out. Now you watch someone else play a video game instead of playing the video game yourself.
Ah.
And
And there's
it's by the-
entertainment. There's entertainment in that.
you would be shocked if you saw the numbers that
So they're like voyeurs.
pretty well. It's actually you're watching the best in the world do something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there are video game competitions now that, Mike, the numbers viewing for them are as big as the World Series.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And Twitch was set up so that gamers could do that. Well, now other platform or other people are exploring the platform, and the first thing to really pop up after the video gamers was cooking and wine shows.
Hmm.
So we're the next one.
Okay. So if I
You're
wanna,
familiar with YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You've heard of YouTube before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
so if I want to video my cats, and even though I'm sitting there watching them,
Yeah.
and other people can go to Twitch and other people can watch my cats.
Right.
So
Yeah. You could do that. You can do that with YouTube as well, or Facebook.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
I don't know if there are cat channels at Twitch.
There ought to be.
Well,
I'll start it.
YouTube has been full of them. since
Don't
the
anybody
beginning.
steal my idea. So that's cool news. That's great news.
Yeah, and we now have cool new graphics on our live stream. I was pointing out to the people already watching. In one corner, we got the Sip and Chew logo up there. The other one, it says live stream powered by the Mac and Cheesery.
All right.
Now, we will sell you the right to have your logo there,
Oh.
but since no one's paying for it yet, I stuck mine.
Come on, people. Come off that money.
Yeah, come on up off of it.
You can't take it with you.
Sure you You just mail it ahead.
With this guy who started Popeyes, Copeland, Al Copeland.
Yeah.
And he buried one of his cars. That's crazy.
And a 6-pack of biscuits.
And what's that sauce? No, that was the best sauce in the world. Was it Mardi Gras sauce?
Yes. Yeah.
You
The horseradishy,
put on
mustardy. Yeah.
Pocket oat chicken. They had a thing.
Oh, those things were good.
They were delicious.
They were. But they do have the Mardi Gras sauce too. You can ask for it. Like the chicken tenders come with it.
And they're sitting on it, ain't
They know they got a gold.
That's all right. I can Google the recipe and make mine.
It's pretty much just mayonnaise, Zatarain's mustard, and plain horseradish.
Mm-hmm.
They go with black.
Okay. Okay. So how's the you venture coming
The
along?
Box Owt.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming along. Went down there and we're getting ready to hook up the kitchen equipment now.
Awesome.
I purchased some new shelves. I want to share this with you. You had once told me, the chromed stainless steel shelves.
Mm-hmm.
The best price you had found on them was at Costco. And I looked, and Costco had the best price. Until I happened to stop by Ollie's and Sims, and they had the same shelf for $30 less.
Oh, really?
Got it for $69 now.
I didn't know they sold those.
You never know what they sell.
That's true.
And I got another shelf that was more like a Rubbermaid style
Mm-hmm.
for chemicals and things like that. So I got 2 new shelves to install tomorrow. Well, I'll drop them off in there when they get done doing all their work. Then I'll put them together.
Yeah.
So that'll give me dry storage for pasta and flour, stuff like that. And then another one to put dirty dishes, or clean dishes on when they come off the compartment. So
Super, man. That's great.
getting there.
Great. Yeah,
and have a cart full at websterants.com waiting to pull the trigger on prep tables and $8 pans and stuff like that. No, I've been creative. It's about 500.
Well, I was at the Cajun Cook-off yesterday, and people were asking how it's coming along. So people are curious.
Yeah, we're getting close. I talked to Smack the other day. I saw him when I went down there to.
Y'all talk smack?
we talked a little bit, but they just in the week since I was down there, the interior. A lot of it's because my kitchen equipment's out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a lot done on the interior.
Cool.
Seating area. They're starting to frame up rooms because it's just one huge open space.
Yeah.
So they had some framing up so they could do individual rooms because they're going to have great restrooms,
Mm-hmm.
large, very nice restrooms, and they're going to have some little private rooms too, so people can do meetings and the like. And it'll be a great space to do a wedding reception in or a family reunion. It's going to have that ability. It just that wall lined with those church pews turned into booths. That's going to be so cool.
I bet.
They're doing a really good job of keeping the old and making it modern
Mm-hmm.
with all the aesthetics of how old these buildings are now.
Right.
The historical significance of most of the buildings.
Does that one have a basement?
I don't know. I ain't going.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The last time I went in the basement of one of those buildings down there on Dolphin Street, it did not go well. And Steve doesn't know about Jeff Archimedic.
There's a lot of buildings down there that have basements. And,
Mm-hmm.
you'd be surprised, or maybe not surprised, but a lot of them do have basements. And
Yeah.
one of the coolest being Las Floriditas.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's the other basement down there that I've been in. That went well.
The vault.
Yeah, that went well every time.
Yeah.
Mojito, little picadillo. Yeah, that went well.
There you go.
That's a great place.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, it is Bob Baumhauer's very authentic, from what I understand, Cuban speakeasy
Mm-hmm.
that is in the basement of whatever that building's called.
Well,
The Merchants Bank building.
No, that's next door. That's one with the copper top. That's the old First National Bank building.
Yeah, well, First National.
We always call it the old First
Bank
National
Trust now.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's an RSA building.
Trustmark or something. Trust me, it's Trust
Yeah.
is up there somewhere.
Yeah, it's that second tallest building.
Yeah.
That great big Lego brick right next to the Square. Yeah, right
Yeah,
there on the left.
yeah,
Right.
Trustmark.
Yeah. Well, that's what it says when that picture was taken.
I think it's still Christmas.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's awesome. Glad to hear that. I hope you get it open soon.
Yeah, so do I. This money going out and none coming in is not fun.
That's part of business.
Yeah, that is why everyone who's starting restaurants takes pulling their hair out.
It takes money to go broke.
I didn't have any to pull.
It takes money to go broke.
Yeah. 251-343-0106 if you want to get in on the conversation, or you can join us on any of the platforms where we're live streaming.
When we come back, we'll talk about our stuff, some of our sponsors.
Oh, yeah. And the Cajun Cook-off, maybe?
Yeah.
For more than 50 years, Hope Bay magazine
All
shows
right.
the history, style, arts, dining, and
So what's this about tomato cans?
On both sides of the
2015, I'd been the executive chef at Beer Garden for about 5 weeks.
Okay.
And I did the prep list that morning. I'm trying to work my way through their recipe book, and I decided I would make their chili that day. Went down to the basement, which is where dry storage was, started collecting my ingredients. I had a number 10 can, which is the gallon size can,
Okay.
tomatoes in my hand, and I stepped, and the floor gave out underneath me. I fell into a pit and landed on the tomato can. And 2 years later, I went back to work.
Hey,
Yeah, ultimately, my colon ruptured. And when I went to the ER, I was septic. And for about 4 of the 8 hours I was on the table, I was 50-50.
Wow. Yeah, you
Yeah.
damn lucky.
Yeah.
wow.
Would have killed another man. I heard that a lot too.
Alessio, man.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard you were one tough son of a bitch a lot.
How deep was the drop? Or how big was the pit?
Just into a seated position.
Yeah.
But the can got
How
trapped
deep?
on the floor that I was standing on and my gut.
Oh, wow.
And I hit with that full force of energy on it.
Mm-hmm.
It creased the colon, and 2 weeks later is when it perforated. And I looked pregnant on one side.
Right. No, I think that's
Yeah.
swelling, yeah.
So now I have no belly button. I have 5 feet less colon. Some lovely scars all over
Well,
the
I'm sure, yeah.
Woo, been the Soggy market.
Yes. Yeah. You've not been?
No.
Dude, that's one of the coolest markets.
Where's it at?
It's on Cottage Hill there by, it used to be the Schwing shop.
Across
Yeah.
the street. from
But
Cottage
it
Hill.
was in the same shopping center with Mars Hill when I was a chef there. I did a lot of my produce in there. Yeah, that place is killing. Dude, not just duck. You can go there and get dirty on.
What's that?
That's the fruit that smells like rotting flesh that you're not allowed to take on public transportation in Southeast Asia.
Oh, chin here?
But in America, hey, that's just another day at the job.
Wow.
Y'all watching? Look, see there? See that? And all that right there? We fancy. We fancy now.
And Coach Mark Lassiter for the Prep Sports Report presented by Alpha. And we'll be coming to you live from
Cool.
the Alabama Church Studios for
15 seconds.
beginning at
Really?
8 a.m. Saturday morning. We'll visit the coaches, athletes, administrators, and more as we'll keep you up to date on all things prep along the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, Florida, and the state of Alabama. Wake up with the Prep Sports Report team this Saturday morning starting at 8 a.m. right here on FN Talk 1065. Okay, get on the
These things keep going up. Volume keeps going.
Oh, Diva Bailey over here.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, I've lost the right ear. Like, you know,
No, I got sound, but
Oh.
somehow the volume went back up on them, so. Does it turn by itself?
Hey, Mike, it's because you didn't have it all the way on your ears earlier.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
There we go. Anyway, hey, welcome back to Super Fusion. We want to thank a few people. And yesterday, our neighbor, I was helping Butch Cassidy's out.
Butch Cassie's Cafe?
Butch Cassidy's Cafe. The famous Butchburg.
But you weren't doing Butchburg.
No, we did a Cajun pasta, Rio pasta, and it was.
Was it creamy?
Yeah.
And
Well, it wasn't creamy. It was seasoned well.
but I mean, was it like Alfredo-y or?
No,
Okay.
wasn't that.
I'm very
And, it's cold. We served it for cold pasta.
That's right, it was a pasta salad.
Pasta salad, that's right.
Yeah.
And, it was delicious. But our next door neighbor was Tony.
From Bob's Downtown Diner?
Diner.
Hey, that's at the corner of Fat and Happy.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
And their logo is, Peace, Love, Bakeries. And so, but they were, they did well. They won a category. And, his presentation was just beautiful. His presentation was gorgeous. And I got to see some of the judges back there. They were miserable. Well, they weren't miserable. They were full.
They looked like they needed help, didn't they?
They were full.
Yeah, and just, real quick, if you've got a cook-off and you need judges, you got two experts right here on the radio. We will be more than happy to come there and eat a free meal.
What do they want experts for? What do they want experts for?
We won't hesitate to enjoy a free
We don't
meal.
even have a face.
Yeah, we'll eat that free meal for free. We won't charge you a dime to give us a free meal.
There you go. Yeah, Tony and Bob's Downtown Diner were one of our sponsors, and Roy, one of our sponsors, Butch Cassidy. And so we certainly want to mention Le Bouchon Wine and Tapas Bar over in Daphne, and they're right there in the heart of Daphne.
Mm-hmm. They are the heart of Daphne.
They are the heart of Daphne.
I bet at a Cajun Cook-off there was a lot of hauls on doing sausage flavor. Was Deborah there?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, it was sponsored by
Someone else? Yeah.
Connected sponsored it.
Yeah. Well, we're sponsored by Hall Sausage and Wholesale.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and that's what we use. That's what we use.
Connecticut ain't got no venison sausage.
No.
You know who does?
Hummus.
Yeah. Connecticut ain't got no on do it. You know who does?
Hummus.
There you go.
And they're sweet people.
Yeah.
Awesome people.
Let me bounce an idea for a mac and cheese off of it.
Okay.
This one hit me to get this morning, listening to a backpacking podcast. We're talking about foods they take out with them. And I don't know why it hit me. I'm going to call it a Hickory Farms mac and cheese. Smoked cheddar and summer sausage.
Oh, okay.
What would you think about that?
That sounds cool. That actually sounds pretty cool.
There you go. I got the patent on that. So you looking at your days, what days of the week it is?
Well, I'm about to pull them up, and because they are some important days.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's navy time. We want you to get out there and
Ignore
nominate us.
everyone else. Vote for us in every category.
Every category.
Best
Every category.
Baldwin County politician. Sip the chew of Michael State.
Dog catcher. Sip through Mike.
Yep.
So anyway, today is National Spinach Day. I think I'll have a spinach salad and maybe a white egg white omelet with spinach in
Get
it.
some goat cheese if they got it. Trust me. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
And sun-dried tomatoes if they have it.
yeah.
That combination is fantastic.
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried
Well,
tomatoes.
if I go to Bob's Day, I'll have to do that.
Yeah.
But that's what I get. They usually have spinach in it, and
Mhm.
some bell pepper and
Yeah.
peppers and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, if they got some sun-dried.
Absolutely.
Feta or goat cheese, either one.
Goat cheese. Okay.
But both of those are healthier for you.
Yeah.
They're not, but the goat cheese is already creamy, so you're not going to miss the lack of meltiness.
Right.
Because a lot of people who purport to be cheese lovers,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the flavor of the cheese that they're in love with, it's the texture when it melts.
Yeah.
I know people that will not eat cheese unless it is melted.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you're losing all the flavor. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't think and so for them, doing something like a feta is like not having cheese at all.
Mm-hmm.
But the creaminess of that goat cheese will probably satisfy that. It's more of a textural thing that they're looking for than this actual flavor.
Okay.
The human,
You're going to incorporate that in your business.
I do a goat cheese and bacon mac and cheese.
Well, that's good.
It's very good.
Okay. It's also Nougat Day.
Heck
You know
yeah.
what nougat is?
Yeah, nougat is the offspring of a nugget and a chimpanzee.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Nougat is the filling, the insides and innards of candy bars.
The interesting.
The innards of candy bars. Tomorrow is all important though. Tomorrow is Spanish Paella Day. Spanish Paella.
That's not Spain, that's Mexico.
Hmm?
La Cucaracha's from Mexico.
Oh, yeah, that song, yeah, okay.
Yeah. just because they speak Spanish doesn't mean it's the same culture.
And here's one that's gonna really.
Before you
excite
move on
people.
from the paella now,
Yeah, okay.
we have our own form of paella on the Gulf Coast.
We do.
Yes, jambalaya.
Yeah,
That it evolved from Spanish paella.
okay.
It is a direct descendant.
Cool.
There you go.
We invent that.
We invented, the Gulf Coast invented jambalaya.
Yeah. All right, and then all important tomorrow is International Whiskey Day.
Oh.
There you go. There you go. It's gonna make a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
We get some paella and some
and some Japanese whiskey. Yeah, great little international day.
Throw it away.
Yesterday was some
No,
kind of
really.
day, but I forget what it
No
was.
food birthdays today. But
None whatsoever.
none whatsoever. There's birthdays, but no food birthdays.
Yeah.
And no deaths. So that's a good thing. Nobody died.
Well, no food deaths.
No food deaths.
I'm pulling this up real quick. Did you see Emeril Lagasse's post from yesterday on Facebook?
By the sun.
Yep.
Okay.
Emeril Lagasse has stepped down as the chef patron of Emeril's and turned the kitchen over to his, I believe, 19-year-old son, EJ. And I didn't even know Emeril had a son. I knew he had two daughters, but his days of doing Emeril Live were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Probably.
They seemed like they weren't that long ago, but really they were.
Right.
Quite long, 20-something years ago.
And still the best stand-and stir cooking show.
I've seen on Dabble channel, I've seen some video of him when he was in his 20s doing cooking show.
Yep.
And he had just started working at
Commander's Palace. Yes, and that audition or that show was shot in Nashville.
Okay.
And he beat out Sarah Moulton. The show was How to Boil Water. And it came down to him and Sarah Moulton, who later had a show.
Yeah.
And it has several. She's on Create TV now. She's on Hugo. She was, I believe, the executive chef of like Bought Apple TV or something like that. She wasn't so much a restaurant chef. She was more she's very trained. She's a very talented chef. But
did she win a next Food Network star?
No. You were probably confusing her with Tennessee Nixon, who came in second.
I am confused.
Yeah, Sarah Moulton was on Food Network long before there was Food Network stuff.
Okay.
She was on there when you had like teenage Aaron Sanchez's there was a show that was on Food Network that had a lot of well-known chefs now that were nobodies back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Boiling Pot, and each day it was two different chefs, and they explored one regional thing. And like one of them was Wayne Harley Brightman, who was Bobby Chef's pastry chef, and this guy from Cleveland named Michael Simon. And all they did was look at Eastern Bloc food. And then the next day was these two young folks. Kat Cora, I believe, was her name, and the other guy was Rocco Despirito. And they focused on foods of Greece and Italy. And then there was another one that had Aaron Sanchez, and they did Latin American food. Tanya Holland, and I forget the other lady. They did soul food and Goa food.
That's what I like about watching Christopher Kimball. He does regions of the world, and he comes back and duplicates with his staff.
Was that a 30, by the way?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay.
No, one, but it's almost 30.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's the guy who keeps beating us all the time on the Taste Awards.
Yeah. Well, he's now beaten us in 2 categories.
2 categories.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we brought our game, and he brought his.
There you go.
His game won.
All right.
Now it's 30.
But now that we're on all these different platforms, maybe we'll win next year.
Something, yeah. Maybe we'll. maybe the Twitch Awards are called the Twitchy. That would be cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what
Is there a dance?
I don't know what the award would look like. Hey, we're only 990,990 away from getting the 100,000 subscriber platform.
Woo! All right.
251-343-0106.
Oh, I don't like cheese. Ultra Wash will do
Anti-Semitic song.
but we also
Do what?
It's an anti-Semitic song.
Everybody's raving about, I've seen a number of people raving about that lobster truck that was at Braided River. And they were packed last night.
Yeah.
When I drove by.
I guess all they're doing is lobster rolls, right? Which I think all they're doing is lobster rolls and great sandwich. But reckon they're doing more than that?
I didn't know. I should have went there and ate.
Yeah. You should have.
I saw people carrying bags. But I don't know how much it costs. Probably expensive.
They serve like lobster in a bag kind of thing, like this crispy, they bring out the boiled crabs in a bag and
Maybe
it's like cheese
that's what
everywhere.
they're
Don't go
doing.
in
They're
there
doing
wearing
a
white.
little clam bake.
Yeah.
Which is funny because clam bake usually involves steamed lobster.
Yeah.
And never involves baked clams.
Right.
Yeah. They're steamed, but I wonder if they're doing that.
$39 a month. With no annual
See, that's what we look like on
contract
YouTube
and money
now.
back guarantee. All in the largest,
Christmas
fastest,
dinner.
reliable network for small businesses. With a company that powers more businesses.
I'd show you what we look like on Twitch, but I'm not even sure I have it installed.
Don't wait.
Oh, yeah, I
Call
did.
and get started today. Comcast Business.
Well, let's say Twitch, not right now, no.
Offer ends 4/4/23. Restrictions apply. New Comcast.
It's always when you want to use it, that's when they want to
Yeah.
update it.
Requires EcoBill and
Really?
overpay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Hey folks, this is Brad. I'm one of the owners at Gulf Coast Men's Clinic, and I'm here to tell you today that I have erectile dysfunction. I
Well,
understand your frustration.
congratulations.
Yeah, happy
That's something I want to broadcast.
I told Mike one time, if I had it, my life would be so much easier. I wouldn't have to worry about anything else. My brother wants to know how's the diet going, Mike. Good.
You can't tell by last night. I'm down 25 pounds.
Wow.
You owe over $10,000 in back taxes. You
I
call
feel
the
better,
tax firm
except
out there.
this
They
morning.
all say the same thing.
There's different causes for certain things, though.
Yeah, you're not feeling illness right now.
If you're faced with
Yeah,
You're
it's
self-inflicted.
on final tax returns, we'll fight to get you the new start you deserve. Call 1-800-266-1492. Our New Start program will stop collection efforts, remove any liens the IRS has in place, and help you reduce your back taxes by as much as 80%. That's right, 80%.
All right,
Don't
yeah.
wait until another tax
More
season
people
ends
watching.
and another year of penalties and interest are added to your
I wonder
balance.
if there's a
If
thing
you
that
owe
tells
at
them
least
the breakdown of which
$10,000 to the
platforms they're
IRS
watching on.
and need a new
30
start
seconds.
on your back taxes, call 1-800-266-1432.
Two are on YouTube, two are on Facebook.
1432. Let the professionals
Huh?
at Coast One
We got 2 viewers on YouTube.
Get you the new
That's
start
not bad
you
considering we had
deserve.
posted video in
Again,
six weeks
1432.
or more.
When you get it, they probably have subscribed and they get a notification.
Yeah.
Come on.
One of our 11 followers. Did you kill the batteries, Mike?
Look at this snail. That's a slug.
Here we go.
Is it we go?
Now back to Mike.
Mike and Stu, that's us.
That is us.
You're Michael Bailey.
That is us.
Yeah.
That is me. So tell us again, Stu, what we're on now.
We are on the air, Mike.
I know besides that. What,
We are on the
what
air.
airs are we on?
FM Talk 106.5 on your radio,
Uh-huh.
which is also available to TuneIn Radio.
Yeah.
We are on live Facebook,
Yeah.
as we normally have been for the last 3 years or so. But in addition to that, we are now live on the YouTubes.
The YouTube?
Yep, as well as the Twitch.
Uh-huh.
Nobody our age uses Twitch.
Mm-hmm. Except us.
We're going to try and
Except
reel
us.
in some of the younger group. Hey, man, put down that big man. Go get you some real food.
Get some real
Try a
food.
local place.
That's right. Always local. Always support local.
So you were at the Cajun Cook-off.
I was.
Yesterday.
And it was it turned out to be a gorgeous day. Absolutely.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
it did. I ended up, when I got off, got done working, I took Luke out to the park. We did a little bass.
Mhm.
Not catching, just fishing.
Okay.
I want to tell you, man, I was out there for maybe 30 minutes. The people that had been out there on the pier on the other side had not caught anything the entire time I was out there. I didn't get a single hit. This old dude pulls up next to me, he goes, "Yeah, do you look?" No, sir. Man, 5 casts later, he's pulling in his first fish. He kicked my butt, man. He goes, "I just use this old salamander with a chartreuse tail and just kind of wiggle it on the bottom." Okay, because I'm trying to get used to some of these newfangled lures that have the weird names, the whopper plopper, which makes a god awful amount of noise in the water. It doesn't entice fish, and to strike because they're hungry. They hit it to shut it the heck up.
Yeah.
They hit it in anger. And then the other one is chatterbait, which makes an obnoxious amount of noise under the water. It's basically a jig head with a worm on the back, but it's got a propeller in the front and a hellacious amount of noise.
Wow.
And these are newfangled things to me. I mean, I took a little time off from life there for a while, so fishing changed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get used to these newfangled things.
So
And this dude was out there, the only one catching was using the old plastic salamander.
and do you catch and release, or do you
Depends on where I am and what I'm catching.
Yeah, that's when what you catch.
Well, like that little pond there in Sims, they want that to be a catch and release lake so they can get the population up in it. And the population is not good because apparently I'm the only one that catches and releases that. One day, the game warden told me, he said that had this old fellow that had just migrated from Mexico out there with a cast net. And he's like, "Sir, you can't use a cast net in a freshwater lake." "Sure I can, watch." No, you can't do that. "Sure I can." And finally he called in an officer that spoke Spanish and explained to him, "You can't do it because we'll put you in jail." Oh, okay.
That changes things.
Yeah, he spoke no English yet, and so they had to get a translator in. But he understood enough that when he said, "You can't do that," he was like, "Sure I can." And he just threw it out there and watched it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So people that come from other cultures are not used to the ways that we control our fishing in this country. We're light years ahead of most countries, especially, underdeveloped countries.
Yeah.
And so there, where he came from, it's a fight for survival.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
certainly.
it's hard to adjust to that when you've had to fight for survival your entire
A
life.
lot of what is what's a sport to us is a
Right.
survival for them.
Right.
And,
For people in other parts of even the country. I mean, there are parts of Louisiana and Arkansas where you ain't catching a catfish, you ain't eating.
So what would you say is good eating right now in fish?
All of
I know it is. Reds are going to be running soon, aren't they?
Oh, that's in the fall. But they're still catching a lot of redfish down in Cedar Point. I was checking through. There's a really good Facebook group of what people are catching down at Cedar Point. And they're still catching the big redfish. They're still pulling in the big black drum. And that's one that I release. A smaller drum, what they call the puppy drum, is good eating. But as they get larger, they are more likely to take on parasitic worms.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to have to dig around that.
Right. I've heard
The
that about
redfish-
mullet too.
Yeah, but when they get big enough, and a lot of those, and that's because that's just natural. That's the way the world works.
Yeah. I was watching a video this morning before I left to come here. It showed a pelican sitting in the water and a grouper coming.
Got the pelican?
He got the pelican.
Oh.
The groupers, they're huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a 90-pound largemouth bass.
Well, they caught some game, trophy fishes, and as reel them in, all of a sudden a grouper comes up, just takes a bite out of it. And sharks too.
Yeah.
They're taking bites out of sharks.
Well, just think, once you set the hook in it, you've just turned what you're catching into a lure for something bigger.
Yeah, and they get pretty big. I was really, really amazed how big they get.
Yeah, there used to be one, when I took diving lessons years ago at Gulf Coast Diving, they told us that there was like a shipwreck off of Destin, and a 90-pound grouper lived in the shipwreck.
Wow.
And they would take people there and not let them know.
If you got somebody you want to get rid of.
Jaws scene.
You did dive? Have you ever dove?
It's been a long time. I did with Boy Scouting.
Incredible.
We went to the Keys.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
3 years ago.
That's all.
That's when God.
All of mine were in the pool.
Well, we trained on Memorial Day at Perdido Pass, like boats coming in and out, and the water was so murky. But that's what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to dive when the water was murky and learn how to stay together in bad water. And
Gulf Coast divers, when I took, it was about a year after my best friend took.
mm-hmm.
They had a new rule when I took that they didn't have when he took. And he's the reason they had the rule, the tip control. There's this one drill where they have everybody stand on the edge of the pool and throw their mask in the pool. And then you have to dive in and find your mask, clear it out, so that you get the practice of how to handle, I lost my mask.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, my buddy, he dives down and just goes for the first mask that he finds, clears it out, and then uses it to find his mask. And the instructor said, that was brilliant, but you're not going to have all those other masks in the Cayman Islands when yours pops off.
Yeah.
He just went about the best way of achieving the goal of the task, not learning the task.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was hilarious.
Now, one thing I didn't understand when I took lessons was we're down in the water and we have to take our tanks off.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, the tank's empty.
Yeah.
Take it off. The tank floats. Why would you take it off?
Because
if you're out in the ocean,
it may drag you up too fast.
Well, I mean,
what if and it's also, what if the tank is snagged on something and you can't go up without taking the tank off? It's just to prepare you for everything.
But then you got a knife.
One of the drills that I took that Gulf Coast had us go through that no one else does is how to deal with losing your mask and your regulator at the same time.
Yeah.
Everyone else does lose your mask, get your mask back. Lose your regulator, get your regulator back. Folks that don't know, the regulator is the thing you shove in your mouth to breathe.
Right.
Never hold your breath.
Mm-hmm.
If you hold it more than about 3 or 4 seconds, you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Because that air is compressed in your lungs.
Absolutely.
Well, Bob had a couple who took his diving lessons, and the wife ended up drowning on a trip to the Keys because her husband saw something and he turned real quick, and his flipper hit her in the head and knocked her glasses and her regulator out, and she panicked and drowned.
Mm-hmm.
So now the drill is you got to learn how to get both of them out.
Yeah.
And just so you know, when you're doing this, there's a dive instructor floating like 6 inches in front of you with his spare octopus ready in case you can't get it done.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. The Keys are gorgeous.
Well, it's the closest you're going to come on Earth to experiencing the weightlessness of space.
Mm-hmm.
It is like flying in slow
motion. When down the Keys, the water is so salty that you have to put on more weight just to go down. I could not go down. When I tried to just snorkel, I couldn't go down because I was stayed up top, and I gotta go get down there.
I don't know what your physical condition was at the time, but fat is incredibly buoyant.
Mm-hmm. And
people who are chubby have to use a lot more weight than skinny people to go deep.
Yeah.
It's something you would think is the opposite, but the weight is, fat cells are incredibly buoyant.
Yeah.
And I was at 300 pounds back then. I used to have 2 or 3 times as much weight on my belt as everyone else to get down to 20.
There is during lobster season, there's I think a weekend that you can catch all the lobsters.
Yeah, free diving.
A couple of days.
There's a show that I watch called Brooke Christ Outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
It's this family in South Florida, and Brooke does that every year.
Yeah.
She's even developed her own lobster catching tool.
Really?
Yeah, it's really brilliant.
I love lobster. Love lobster.
And, and those are the spiny lobsters that we have here on the Gulf Coast. So you're not going to get the lobster claws with the house claws, but still, it's the local lobster. It's good, and they have it sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder
taco.
Toss that in some cornmeal, deep fried, man. Have it with a hush puppies. I don't think I could quite do that.
No, you're ruining.
Not everything that swims is meant to be dipped in cornmeal and deep fried. If you've ever had fried Kobe, you'll understand.
Yeah.
It's almost inedible because it gets really dry.
Yeah.
Great grill though.
Mm-hmm. I think flounder is still my favorite. No, sea bass.
Oh, you had Chilean sea bass.
In Chile.
Yeah.
That was delicious.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal.
And it was cooked and they steamed it and they wrapped it in banana leaves.
Mm. Very traditional way to prepare food in the Central and South.
Huh?
That does sound good.
Oh my
I've
God.
had red snapper.
It was like, they had like 8 of them. There was 100 of us. And I had like 8
You
of
gotta
them.
give the number, buddy.
251-343-0106 is our text for calling line. We'd love to hear from you. We've had texts this morning from people.
Yeah, had messages on our simulcast. David Hubble joining in, my brother in Grand Bay.
We feel important
Yep.
today.
Today.
For more than 50 years, Hopewell Magazine has showcased
We're showing an actual chat in the video stream right now. David Hubble's comment. That's cool. I like the logo additions to the video.
That's when people still text
to be subscribed to
Bill
Hopewell
and
Magazine.
other ones.
Recipes, familiar places,
Send
and
pictures
places, and
of their
untold stories
bushes.
abound. Start your
Excuse me?
journey
Oh, for the,
by visiting Mobile Bay Mag.
For the garden.
well, that depends on who she is. Thanks, honey, but no.
All your favorite bars, restaurants, musicians, doctors, artists,
Feeling that
and
coming
just
on.
about everything.
Feeling that coming on.
I am not going to be a productive guy.
Berries.com to get started. Once again, we'll have two
You've been doing so good. I'm not drinking. Getting stuff done.
I'm at that age where I used to, wonder why, Dad, you get up at 3:30 in the morning, and sit there, tink, 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 and you caught it up and keep the rest of the stuff. I just went to sleep at 2 things because I'm hyperactive. And then by 8:30, my dad's like in his favorite chair, and his lips, all down to his shoulder. Now I'm at that age where I'll go home today, I'll start watching a movie. Next thing you know, I'm like, so I get it.
I've never seen any part of Finding Nemo past Nemo's mom dying.
Really.
Fall asleep every time.
My wife can't watch It's a Wonderful Life. Out within the first 2 minutes.
I get it. I'd always heard what a fantastic Christmas movie that was, and I love Christmas movies, and I watched it and I went, oh, this sucks. Where's Bing Crosby?
Bill must,
Where's Big Co?
Bill must be answering.
By the way, I didn't know, but nougat is made of honey, glucose, sucrose, roasted nuts, almonds, pistachios, hazelnuts, and macadamia nuts, and dried fruit.
Oh, well, that means it will kill your dogs. Don't give your dog nougat. Macadamia nuts are very toxic for them, as is chocolate.
Yeah.
Bill is answering.
Yeah, he's been an advocate out there.
So answer people. That's what it is. I thought, no, he's answering people.
This message presented by the AHSAA and the Alabama High School
Sweet home Alabama.
Association. Every Monday at 7, Jennifer Boozer presents.
She's supposed to have a chef coming in
Brought to you by
next month.
a national organization with a report
That cooks with
cannabis.
She talked to us about possibly.
You got something else?
Huh?
It goes beyond that. Have you watched any of the cannabis cooking contests? I think 2 of them are on Netflix, one's on Amazon. It's brilliant what these people do.
Oh, I'm sure.
They're so, because they get you high as they can and then bring you down by the end of the meal. CBD brings you down.
Hey, that's us.
Hey, it's us.
Yes.
Mike is a fellow that you can often find hanging out at Le Bouchon Wine and Tapas Bar over in Daphne. Why is that, Mike?
Because every now and then they need me to come help work. But I do occasionally when I'm over that in Daphne that time of the day, afternoon, I will hang out a little bit and have a few glasses or 2 or bottles of delicious wine and have their pimento cheese. Dave's famous pimento cheese.
And Mike is no stranger to Butch Cassidy's Cafe in the Flow Shell District.
I do have certain days I love going there, And it's not only to see Roy and the girls, but it's the people, the customers are. It's one of those
Great family clientele.
It is, and everybody knows everybody's like cheers, believe it or not. It's like cheers. But yeah, and I've also been known to hang out at Bob's Downtown Diner.
Yeah, it's true.
Right there at the corner of Fat and Happy, North Jack.
Hang out there enough, they put you on the menu.
I got my own meal on the menu. That's right. Got one named after me. It's the most expensive thing on the menu, but you know.
Bailey's breakfast. Bailey's breakfast.
Yeah, I would get it half price. Anyway, just kidding, Tony.
Just so you know, when you're not there, it's 20% off.
Probably so.
They just want you paying full price.
And you know Deborah Hodges in the Hall family.
Yeah, I have actually hung out there before.
You have hung out there.
Yeah,
We're all in
watched them
hanging
make
out.
the red hot.
Really?
Yeah, I
I haven't been able to do that.
dressed up in the butcher coat and put the special gear on.
Yeah.
Go anytime, Mike. They'd love to show you the process, whatever they're doing today. You know what I'd like to do, and I need to talk to Cole and Deborah's up boy and her husband about it. Taking regular Italian sausage and smoking it exactly the way they do Southern smoked sausage. That long sort of,
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they do to Italian sausage. And truly smoked flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to try that.
Cool. Sure.
I don't have an industrial smoker.
Oh. So you're just throwing an idea out.
Yeah, just throwing the idea out there, just like the Hickory Farms mac and cheese.
There you go. There you go. Okay.
I may try that one this week.
Well, I think I've sent you some ideas I thought were pretty cool.
Somebody sent me a lobster mac and cheese yesterday. That was a lobster with the back cracked open and a little mac and cheese.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not, as you know, I'm not a fan of mac and cheese because
Right.
we had it every night.
No, you
For
had
dinner.
crap.
We had in the blue box every night with,
Yeah.
with English peas. The only thing that changed was the meat, and that was the
And how bad it was burnt.
Overcooked barley or whatever, soy burgers or whatever. And then on Saturdays was sandwich days. It was hot dogs, sandwiches, like bologna sandwich, not fried, or hamburgers if we really got it. And then whatever was in the crock pot on Sunday. That's how we ate the same thing all the time. So to this day, I will not eat mac and cheese
Unless it's mine.
and peas, English peas.
Yeah. I don't use elbow macaroni in any of my mac and cheeses, and that's really what turns me off. Actually, my preferred pastas are cavatappi and celentani, which are like a double elbow with ridges on the outside. Those are the best macaroni and cheese pastas for me. But I've used a bunch of different ones. David Hubble, see, I can put these comments that come in on the home line. I can put them in on the feed on the home line. David Hubble wants to know, Stu, are you going to name a mac and cheese dish after Mike? Maybe the provolone cheese. The provolone. I have used provolone to do the deluxe pizza mac and cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Steve. Deluxe pizza. It's got pepperoni, sausage, onions, bell peppers, and mushrooms.
Are you gonna have like a staples, and then
The two that don't change will
change.
be classic cheddar
Okay.
and chili nut,
Okay.
because people can always go for either.
Yeah.
And then 4 will rotate.
Okay.
2 with meat, 2 without.
Okay.
Occasionally, I'll even do the vegan one. I'll try and pair it. The house soup, the roasted tomato basil soup, is just like the vegan mac and cheese. The goal was not to make it vegan. When I looked at the ingredients, I went, oh, wow, I can write vegan on this.
Mhm.
So I will always have at least that one vegan option available. You can come in and get the tomato basil soup. There will be no animal, no critter parts in it. No critter juice, none.
No critter even looked at it.
This one, I'm making it.
I remember.
And I learned that recipe from
And
John
I'm not,
Gibson.
and I'm not making fun of vegans, but
At this particular moment.
at this particular moment, because I am on air, and this is my opinion. But anyway, not necessarily the station or the staff of the station, or Steve's or Phil's.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Probably not.
at the brick pit one day, this lady came in asking for a vegan menu. And I said, this is a barbecue place. We don't have.
You should say, man, all of our menus are vegan. We didn't use animal skin to make any of them.
So
Just paper.
and so, you know, she said, well, what am I supposed to eat? You don't have salads? I said, we got napkins.
Yeah, somebody asked once at Lucky, what do you have for vegans? And exit.
Mm-hmm.
We're a pub.
Mm-hmm.
We're a pub. And that's the real thing is as long as you have a salad on the menu, you have a vegan option.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't feel any pressure to add anything other than that, unless it's something you feel passionate about.
Look at those plants gave their lives to people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because salad is murder too.
plants have feelings too.
Yeah. They do feel pain.
Plants like
They are finding it when you lop them off.
We're just having
It
fun.
bugs on us.
We're just having fun.
More fun than the plants were having. So, Michael, how do you feel now being a simulcaster? Now that you've been seen on so many platforms you didn't even know it.
How many people saw us?
I don't know. There's 4 watching right now,
Okay.
plus the 5 or 6 that are listening to the radio.
Yeah. Okay.
There's at least 4 listening on the radio because there's 3 in here and 1 in that room.
Yeah. I get people say all the time, you know, almost every day, are you that guy on the radio? Are you Stu? I said, no. Yeah.
You should. Do I look like Stu?
Well, most of the people don't know what we look like.
I went to the Hickory Pit there in Sims the other night.
Yeah.
And when I ordered, I heard someone behind me go, "Oh, I recognize that voice." It was an old friend of mine from high school.
Oh, okay.
But he recognizes my voice from the radio because I hadn't talked to him since high school, other than just the last few meetings here locally.
Well, I was at the Fair Oak Brewing, and it was Christmas Day. They had a band playing that afternoon, and I'm at one end of the bar, and this woman grabbed a beer and a purse, and she walked all the way around during the band playing. She said, "Are you on the radio?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, I thought I recognized your voice. And all that loud music. How does she?
You've obviously never been in a crowded bar that you're in inebriated. Because if you could hear you, you would understand. You get very energetic and you project your voice. Not well, but you project really well.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, we only got 30 seconds, folks.
Yeah.
Folks, get out there, support local, be local, buy local,
Yeah.
and tip your service, earn your tips, please.
There.
And people are still struggling, so be patient.
Yeah.
Tip well. I saw somebody get $170 ticket, a bill yesterday, didn't tip a thing.
Mm.
That's awful. That's sad. Don't go to a restaurant or bar if you can't tip.
Right.
So
That's
there.
my rule. If I can't afford to tip, I can't afford to go.
That's it. And Stu,
Yeah.
why don't you provolone?
Provolone yourself, sir.